Today, we had to drop off a family member to the Fresno airport, so while we were there, we decided to do some thrifting. At the end of the video, I'm going to be showing you how I've done some repairs on some of the thrifted items that I'm going to be keeping for my own home decor. So stay tuned for that. And also, I always do a haul at the end of the video to show you what I've purchased. So come along. We're at MCC Thrift Store on Blackstone, and we had such good luck the first time we came here that we wanted to come back and see if we could find some of the items that we left behind. And one of my subscribers mentioned a couple of items that we wanted to take a look and see if they were still here. So fingers crossed. I wanted to take another look at this butter dish that I looked at in my previous video, and I wanted to double check that that damage was really unforgivable, and it truly was. It was so damaged that all over the place that unfortunately and very sadly I had to leave behind. What I really like about this thrift store is that everything is so clean and well organized. It's very pleasant to come and thrift here. Wasn't this Delft blue candlestick so attractive? It was so outstanding that I really should have purchased that. And I think the reason I didn't is because I have so many blue and white dishes, but I think I could have turned around and sold that. Delft blue items are usually hand painted. I really had to restrain myself from getting these Shannon candlesticks. They're Shannon crystal from Ireland, and they are just scrumptious, aren't they? But again, they're clear crystal, and I have so much. This is another item I kept in my cart until we were getting ready to leave. It's a vintage snowman cast iron muffin dish, and I should have purchased this. I really had it. I had it in my cart until literally the very last second, and then for some reason I decided to leave it. And I think that the reason I decided to leave it is because I couldn't figure out what to make in it. But now I'm thinking back, and I could have made cornbread muffins in it. That would have worked. I considered this Opryland USA plate, and sadly, it doesn't sell for very much. Isn't that sad? It's from the Grand Ole Opry. Please make sure to like and subscribe. There is no cost to you for subscribing, but it does help out my channel. This was so funny. I think someone else likes Holland America too, because they had 4 or 5 Holland America tiles there. And so of course I had to get at least one. I'm planning on doing a crafting project that incorporates all of the tiles that I have that are from Holland America, and I think I'm going to be posting that as well. Look at these sweet rabbits I found. They're Peter Rabbit and Mrs. Rabbit, and they're in great shape. They were originally sold at Neiman Marcus, and they were selling them for $2.50 a piece. I had to get them. At the end of the video, I'll tell you a little secret about them. That was pretty much everything that we found at MCC Thrift Store on Blackstone, so we decided to go over to the Goodwill on Kings Canyon Road. Oh my goodness, look at this, look at this. This is Amberina, and this is so funny because I've only ever found 3 other Amberina items, and I found them at this very store and months apart from each other. It's the craziest thing. This is an Amberina bowl, and it glows, and I'll show you how it glows in a moment. Now, I had a little bit of an irritating moment at this store because when I took this plate up to the register, the man insinuated that I took the sticker off from another item and put it on this plate, even though it says clearly glass and vases. He insinuated that I took it from another item. He even called the manager over so that they could tell him this was okay. I told him I have the footage. I've been recording and I have the footage. I can show you that I didn't do that. And by the way, this sticker, when I got it home, was so difficult to take off. It took me almost a half hour to get that thing off. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that my husband always finds moose wherever we go. Here's another example. The store was getting ready to close, so we quickly took a look around the store and we didn't see anything at all that was worth bringing home for my home decor or for resale. I couldn't believe it. As soon as we walked in, I found this. And I'll show you what it does. It matches some of my other plates and bowls. It's so heavy. It's done really nicely, but it's very, very heavy, and the design on the back is the same for all the ones that I have. It's like this odd hobnail look. It looks like Tic Tac, but it does something special. Look at what it does. It glows. It glows, and it has this really cool design. I guess that's where the cadmium and selenium weren't there, I suppose. But look at, see how it glows from the bottom, and see how it glows? That's because of the selenium and cadmium inside the material, the glass that they use to make it. And you can see where they swirled the glass, and some of the cadmium and selenium didn't get on that bit. So these are just fun to have. People, subscribers have been asking me about that, and we just think that they're pretty cool when we've come across them. We love having it glow, and maybe someday we'll have a china cabinet that has a black light in it, so that all our uranium glass and Vaseline glass and amberina can be in there, and we can turn it on, and it would be pretty cool. So just for fun. And the materials are non-hazardous because they're within the glass, so you're not breathing it in, you're not absorbing it, it's within the glass, so you're okay. And then found these, which I thought were so adorable. They are, well, first of all, Peter Rabbit and Mrs. Rabbit. And I don't typically pick up stuffed animals, but these were just so cute. And these were originally, they still have their tags. They are vintage. Here is their tag, made in Korea, and it's Frederick Warren, and here's the Neiman Marcus tag. Pretty cool, huh? And I'll have to take this tag off, but I got each of them for $2.50, so I just thought they were adorable. Are they cute? And they're in very good condition. If maybe a little bit of the fabric is a little just a little bit washed out due to time. And here's the secret. The bunnies sold within 2 days of putting them on my selling platforms. And then I also found another one of these. This is the Holland America Cruise Line coaster, and we paid 75 cents for it. Our one and only cruise was on the Holland America, and we had so much fun that hopefully one day, maybe in the future, we'll be able to do another cruise. Isn't that awesome? So I'm going to be making a display for my home with these tiles and a little craft project, and maybe I'll film it and show you what I've done with it. A few months ago, my husband and I went to Monterey, California, and on the way back, we stopped at the Gilroy, California Salvation Army, and I found a little girl mouse that was dressed like a pilgrim, and she was adorable. So I purchased her, and I knew that I had to get a little boy mouse to go with her, and I found this one online. I had to get him, and it was the only one available, but it did have a little chip or two. So I'm going to repair him now because these are from my own home decor. And so I want to repair him, make sure he's good to go, and that way it won't be a problem in the future. I believe this is actually a candle holder, but you can use it for anything. I intend to use it just as decor. If I want to put a candle in it, I will. And I can't wait to have them out for my autumn decor. So I found that it has a tiny little chip here, and actually I think there may be another one just underneath his ear. So he probably just tipped over and got broken on that side. The remainder of it appears to be in really good condition. So I will be getting out my watercolor pencils from Derwent. And what I'm trying to do is color match the color that's already existing on the corn stalks, or at least I think they're corn stalks. Now I'm trying to match the ear portion that's missing, and these are my watercolors from Prima, I believe, and I think that matched really well. And you really can't tell that there's anything amiss. And now this is the magic part. This is called Glossy Accents, and I think it works beautifully on anything that's shiny because this stuff hardens so well, and it does not chip off like clear nail polish or something like that. No. This stuff stays on. So I'm just putting a very small amount and letting it dry. And once it dries, it will appear like it's brand new. You will not be able to tell the difference. Now I'm moving on to a Longaberger lid that I found at the Goodwill in Paso Robles, and I have my video up there as well, so you can see that. But it had damage on the metal leaf and stem. It almost looked like somebody took a slice out of it. So I used a combination of the folk art matte paint and some of my watercolor in brown, and the combination of the two makes it look like there was never any damage to it. And again, these are items that I intend to keep for myself, so I don't mind that I'm doing a little bit of touch-up repair on it because I want it to look as nice as possible for my own home decor. Moving on to Peter Rabbit's cousin Ribby. And when I saw her, I saw that she had a little bit of damage, but I didn't care because she was so adorable. So I decided to bring her home, and it's minor repairs. So I will be using polymer clay, and this is the first time I'm using it, but it's relatively easy to use. You just massage it so that it's as pliable as possible. And then I will be wrapping a little bit around that damaged area, and then all you have to do is bake it to harden it, because otherwise it will never harden. You have to bake it. So that is what I intend to do. And there's also a little tiny damage to her basket. And these are the directions. You bake the polymer clay for about 30 minutes per 1/4 inch. 6 millimeters in thickness, and at 275 degrees Fahrenheit or 130 Celsius, and that's all you need to do.
I just put that in for about 15 minutes is all, because it does, that particular material will soften quite a bit. So you need to be very careful, and that's what I did with the Cousin Ribby. You can see in my playlist all the videos where I found these different items, and now I'm repairing them. I found this Jim Shore ornament at the Salvation Army in Las Vegas, and it's missing one of the little birds. It originally came with a little bird facing the other bird. I'm going to be making a bowl and putting little bits of seeds in there. Now for this Jim Shore Harvest Horn of Plenty, I intend to repair the damaged areas with the polymer clay and some paint. As you can see, the tip of the corn stalk is missing, and also the stem on the apple is missing. I chose to use Sculpey Primo polymer clay, and this one you do have to bake. As far as I know, there's one that dries on its own without baking, but I believe that that one doesn't hold up as well. And they also have them in different colors, and you can actually get different colors and kind of mash them together to get the color that you want. But I chose to do it a little bit easier and just paint it myself. I'm cutting off a little piece, and you do have to keep this wrapped so that it doesn't tend to dry, or it just makes it a little harder to massage. So I like to keep it in a little Ziploc bag and keep the air away from it, and just use what I need to work with. I have some sculpting tools that I recently purchased, and I'm just going to take out a whole bunch of them and see which ones work and as I'm using them. I wish I had a tiny little rolling pin, and I think I may go out and purchase one of those later so that I can, for a future project. But for right now, this will work. And I'm just massaging the clay to get it as soft as possible, which makes it easier to work with. I'm trying as hard as I can to see which tool will work the best for me. Once I got it to the best I could, then I use alcohol. Now this is pure alcohol. I believe the one that I'm using here is 90% isopropyl, but you can use 70%. You can use whatever you have, really. It just requires that alcohol to smooth it out. And now I'm using a sable brush to smooth the remainder out, and it takes all the fingerprints and everything out. It's really cool. It just smooths everything out really well. And this is an old nail brush that I had from when I used to do my own nails, and I don't anymore, so I decided to use it for my projects. Now all I need to do is let it dry just a little bit, put it in the oven, bake it, and then I can paint it. I tried making the little bird, but it did not work out. So I'm not Jim Shore, so it didn't, and it looked all right, but it didn't look like the other bird, and so I didn't want to do that. So I ended up doing a bowl with some bird seed in it, and that's what I intend to do here. The little bird seed were okay. I wish I would have made a little pile, but they were a little tricky to get going, so I think this is good enough. So now I'm putting everything on a piece of foil paper to bake in the oven. For the leaf on the pear, I realized that it was chipped, but I decided to, rather than make a piece to fit in there, I just sanded it and had it so that I can paint it later. I'm putting it in the oven at 275 for 15 minutes. Let it cool and then paint it. I keep a stash of toothpicks in my craft room for any project that requires the toothpick, and I purchased this little thing at the Dollar Tree many years ago, and it's been so handy, so I keep it in my craft room as well. I made little divots on the stem so that it would adhere easier to the other part of the apple. The other piece was on the back and very small, so I decided to just sand it and paint it and call it a day. I'm using this inexpensive brand of Artist Loft gouache to paint the bowl and the birdseed. So the gouache just would not stay on. I think it requires maybe either acrylic paint or oil-based paint. And I don't have any oil-based paint, so I'm trying out the acrylic paint and fingers crossed. Okay, the acrylic base paint is working better. That was weird, it just would not adhere. This one's doing a lot better, but I don't know if you can see, it just still doesn't want to adhere. I suspect that it requires oil-based paint to paint it, but I don't have any, so we're working with what we have.
If you like the video you saw, click on this one next.